with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Let's start things off with a little sports news. The NFL finally reached its breaking point with Oakland Raiders linebacker Vontaze Burfict, according to Yahoo Sports.
It's Vontaze.
Thank you. For the first time in league history, it suspended a player for the remainder of the season for a dirty hit on the field. And I'll show it to you in a second.
Remainder of the season?
I didn't hear that.
Remainder of the season. Wow. Burfict was suspended for the rest of the season.
It's week 4.
For a hit on Indianapolis Colts tight end Jack Doyle. Doyle was getting up after a short catch, and Burfict nailed him helmet to helmet. The suspension is going to cost him about $1.16 million in forfeited salary. This is what they're talking about. I'll show you the clip here.
A guy caught it. He was trying to get on his feet, and he just went right with his head.
And apparently this is not the first time. He's been doing this a while. He's been getting these little suspensions. They don't think he's learning from it, so they're sitting him out.
He's a notoriously dirty player. He was dirty ever since I watched him at Arizona State because he played USC. Typical of Arizona State students, I think, just kind of dirty and,
blow the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also had a famously against the Steelers intercepted a pass and
that was a great moment.
Ran off the field.
He's a buffoon. He intercepted
but
the pass.
But he really hurts people.
He intercepted the pass very late in the game. Yeah. He was so excited. He's like, game over. He ran off the field with like a minute and a half left, and Pittsburgh got all their timeouts, and of course they got the ball back and won the game.
He sounds fun.
He's a buffoon.
But if you really...
Like, typical of Arizona State students.
We get it.
If you kind of break it down...
Pat Jones a hero.
Do these folks... in any facet of life. Like, I kind of feel that way when I see people wrestling with cops. Like, are they stupid? Are they violent? Or they just have an inability to control? Like, you go, why can't you learn this thing? And it's like, when he's closing on that receiver, is it a learned thing, or is he is it essentially a dog that bites the mailman and then bit the babysitter? It's like, we're going, hey, someone's got to teach that dog. Right. Like, I don't know. It's such a visceral thing.
Does he have no prefrontal cortex?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I don't know that I don't know that he's teachable. Is what I'm saying. Like,
they don't either. Apparently,
here's what I'm saying. Like, everything you do in life, you just pass it through your filter. You know, like, well, if somebody said I was going to take away this much money from me, but think about the number of people who put their hands on cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are they dumb? Do they not know any better? Right. Or are they just inability to essentially control themselves, like, in that moment?
Let's drill down on this a little bit, because Adam, you and I must have known these types of people. I knew a guy who was exactly like this, minus obviously, the NFL talent, but like when I knew him when I was younger, he would like go out of his way in sports to like kind of hurt people. You know what I mean? Like, he would give the extra shoulder, and totally unnecessary. And I imagine with Vontaze Burfict, I imagine with this guy that I knew, like, intellectually, they know what they're doing is wrong and will get penalized or hurt the team or whatever. But in that moment, they just fucking got to do it. Like, how many movie characters are you know? I mean, think about Hell or High Water. Remember the brother who just couldn't help himself, but like, rob a bank or shoot someone.
But Brian, most of those bullies get bullied at home.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, there must be something. There must be something, some thread.
I think there's an impulse. I mean, there's a firewall that we all build between what we want to do and what we do. Mm-hmm. And I think the more advanced you are or your civilization is, the greater that sort of firewall is.
Right.
But we've all known people who just don't have any... There's no space between what they're doing and what they want to do and when they're going to do it. It just is.
Yeah, it's lizard brain.
And it's lizard brain. And
in that moment,
he intercepts the ball and he runs off the field because he's celebrating. He's sort of in lizard brain moment.
Yeah.
He's been told a million times, don't lower your head and don't whatever. In that moment when the ball's in the air, it's all back to lizard brain. And he deserves to be suspended. I don't know that... I don't like... At some point, these guys get older, they bottom out, they stop producing testosterone. Like, I get that part, but I don't know that many examples where they just change midstream. Like, he took a class and now he knows.
Anger management.
Yeah.
Right. It just doesn't... They are who they are. Yeah. And good... And also, the thing that's crazy about guys like him is I don't know what his earning potential is outside of the NFL. It's not going to get a lot of endorsements. He's not going to be Shaq. He's not going to be on the, he's not going to be
on the Wheaties box.
Anyone's box or anyone's boardroom.
No.
He really should be saving this money.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is, I mean, very few people know less about the NFL than me, but Antonio Brown, this guy, both Raiders, right? At one point. Do the Raiders just look for dudes that are just a little...
well, Gina, let's have a talk.
Aren't they famous for that?
Yes.
These kind of loose cannons?
Well, they used to have the guys that had a different version of this.
Gina, there's a reason Adam's bit about Raiders fans and tickets and sting operations is funny.
No, I get that. I get all of that. I get all of that about the crowd. But these are the dudes on the field that have this specific reputation.
It's a little for a team for a reason.
It's a little less.
You're from there.
It was like less head trauma.
Sorry,
less head trauma and rape in the past, and more like this guy smoking a cigarette during halftime. You know, they had those kind of characters.
But like the branding, this is their branding.
Well, they still have Richie Incognito, I guess.
Oh, is he still on the team?
Well, did he get suspended for attacking a corpse or something?
First two games.
Amazing.
So basically, they took three what would be called sort of league traveler troublemakers.
Yeah.
They took Richie Incognito. He's the guy who got...
He bullied Jonathan Martin.
International superhero.
He bullied a 350-pound man.
Remember, he was the one with the text messages. And the Dolphins.
Yeah. There was Richie. Then there was Antonio Brown, who's
imploding.
Sort of eccentric or something. And then
super talented.
Then there's Vontaze, who was like too violent on the team. Richie missed the first two. Vontaze is out, and that was a pretty good 0 for 3.
Yeah, that's a tough free agency period.
Speaking of that, Brown is trying to sue the Patriots and the Raiders right now for releasing him. He's suing for $60 million in total, and of course, Brown's 9th appeal could come against the NFL if he's eventually suspended, which seems likely. That would make him the first player ever to file 9 appeals stemming from the same season. He wants to sue everybody.
Yeah,
9 times.
We're sort of fashioning a society. I don't know if you guys. There's a sort of rich man, poor man. There's the homeless guy who's going to sue because he's got his refrigerator box filled with his stuff in it. You can't move that. And then there's this guy. We're just kind of building a society that essentially caters to crazy people, and the system works nicely for all the frivolous lawsuits and all that kind of stuff. So. It's a great society.
Well, this will be interesting coming up in a couple years here. California Governor Gavin Newsom passed SB 206. That's the Fair Pay to Play Act. He just passed that Monday here. The law allows college athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness. So the bill's supposed to go into effect 2023. And if it survives the expected court challenges, it could reshape the NCAA's business model. So the Fair Pay to Play Act allows the college athletes in California to sign endorsement deals, earn compensation based on their usage of their name or image and likeness, and sign all types of licensing contracts that could allow them to earn money, get agents, treat them more like pros in that way.
Where's my aqueduct?
He's not concerned with that.
Not that, because this is less impactful to me than water.
He wants 18-year-olds to start making money.
This impacts about 100 people a year.
All right, here's what I said to Drew. Tell me what you guys come down on this. If you are going to hit me with this notion of, hey, these football programs, they make the school millions of dollars a year, and these guys are athletes, and they're essentially, we will treat it as if it's a concert, and these guys are the band, and the promoters are making millions of dollars, but you're not paying the band. I'm down with. I
cut him in.
I'm all right conceptually with that, but we're going all the way, which is the starting quarterback's going to get paid. The backup long snapper's not going to get paid. I'm not saying we're not going to whack it all down and give everyone an equal share. Number one, and I don't know how much the women's golf team has brought in, but if it's costing money, now they got to pay. I am going right down. I'm going right across the board with this. If there is could be a men's archery team. If they're running at a deficit because they're not getting the big crowds or getting the big endorsement deals, now I'm asking that archer, instead of it's free and we got you covered, now you got to pay because we're going right across the board with this.
We're going 0.
Full Felicity Huffman.
Right.
You know
That's
what?
right.
You're 100% right, because as I understand it, Gina, this bill that's passed, or that's been passing, whatever it is, they're not paying to play. They're not paying the players.
No.
They're saying, which I've thought, this is one of my first questions for Garagos when I met him. Like, how the fuck is this legal? You can't make a video game with whoever you want, Charles and Ed O'Bannon from the UCLA basketball team, as players in your game and not pay them, or sell the jersey of that marquee player.
Right.
And that's fucking insane. In what part of our society are you allowed to just sell images and sell jerseys and sell, like, I understand you're part of the team, you're getting a scholarship, you're getting a free education, that's fine. But if they're selling your jersey or putting you on the front of a video game, or, and granted, this applies to like 100 people a year.
No.
But that's crazy.
But I've always felt that way about TMZ. It's like George Clooney's walking out of LAX and they're filming him and he's holding his jacket up and they're asking him questions and they're airing it and they're running commercials.
Yep, we're on promos today on TMZ. George Clooney.
George Clooney didn't want to be on your show. He didn't sign a release. If you want him to endorse your watch or tequila, you got to pay. Like, what is this show where you just film celebrities and make a show out of it and then have commercial breaks?
And back to your point about the golf team or the whatever, if Stanford wants to sell Tiger Woods jerseys when he's at Stanford, do it and pay him. That's crazy that you wouldn't be able to.
I'd heard that, but it would. There's a certain purity here, like when Vontaze Burfict was at Arizona State.
Right.
Real scholar athletes.
Yeah.
Real scholar athletes.
There's a reason to say scholar first.
And there's a whole technology thing where this female gymnast, I think from UCLA, got like a perfect 10 score on her vault and got like 50 million views on YouTube. You know what I mean? So she should be able to monetize her perfect vault that got 50 million
her
views
performance
on YouTube.
Right.
Why shouldn't she be able to have a Kotex commercial woven into that?
You can do anything with these.
She's in her white leotard. She's like, heavy flow day. You know, but it didn't.
But you never know.
Thanks, Kotex. Like Mentos.
Shot of her like inverted with her crotch flying in the wind, you know. Hey, man, you want to move product?
Yeah, that's how it's
Forget
done.
about walking on the beach. Anyone can pull, in denim, anyone can pull that shit off.
Yeah.
Riding a horse, who does that?
Try a handspring.
Yeah, try a handspring. Caitlin Ohashi, 65 million views.
It was awesome.
Just
If we're
on
talking about
YouTube.
the floor
I mean, it was
routine,
all over everywhere.
It was incredible.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Very
Was she
good.
wearing a white outfit?
No,
Light blue?
This was really incredible.
Oh, so they got... All right, so she got 65 million views. So somebody's got to monetize that. Why not her?
Anybody on YouTube would monetize 65 million views.
All right.
Well, this guy is getting a lot of ink today. A South Florida official called out a sheriff's deputy during an awards ceremony, claiming the law enforcement officer had falsely arrested him 4 years ago. And I'll show you the clip in a second. So City Commissioner Mike Gellin on Wednesday shamed Broward County Sheriff's Deputy Joshua Gallardo during an Officer of the Month ceremony back at their meeting. Officer Gallardo and others were honored, and Gellin is seen grabbing the mic, asking Gallardo to come back to the floor, Gallardo to come back to the floor. And here's what he said.
It's good to see you again. You probably don't remember me, but you're the police officer who falsely arrested me 4 years ago.
Oh, boy.
You lied on the police report. I believe you're a rogue police
Southwest
officer.
commercial.
You're a bad
Want to get
police
away?
officer, and you don't deserve to be here.
You're a bad officer and you don't deserve to be here.
I give a thumbs
Ladies and
up.
gentlemen, we appreciate as a whole.
And then she tries to
DSO
smooth things
and
over.
everything that you do for us.
Yeah. So here's
is
what he's
uncomfortable.
I know, here's what he's
Jesus
referring to.
Christ.
So Gellin was referring to a 2015 incident where he was arrested for charges of resisting and obstructing without violence, according to the Miami Herald. He had allegedly recorded police while they were responding to a battery incident. Gellin was not city commissioner at the time of the arrest, of course, and charges were dropped due to shady language on the police report.
What
He
if,
claims
what
that
if he only ran for city council just to get to this moment?
Thank
Confront
him.
the guy.
My
He
name is
claimed-
Montenegro. What else that guy say?
Inigo Montoya.
That's right.
How dare
Sorry.
you.
You killed my chances at city
right.
commissioner. So basically, he said that he tussled with him a little. He wouldn't back up when he was supposed to, but they found that none of that was true since they had two cameras recording and those conversations hadn't taken place. So he finally got his just desserts.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's a deodorant
You know,
commercial.
I want to say, like, here's my feeling. Like, all right, super uncomfortable for the cop. maybe empowering for the guys doing the talking. But for me, what about the 5 people that are standing next to him going, God, this is the worst day of my life?
They're going to have a nice little ceremony.
How about the people next to the fight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when Mike August is yelling at the guy to get another tattoo at the Denver airport. What about the 8 people who have to hear that?
Yeah.
They're the real victims. They're the real victim.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of victims, looks like the bagel guy has pulled a fast one on us. We thought he was going to get in the ring with Lenny Dykstra. Then we thought he was going to get in the ring with Dustin Diamond. And now he's announced he's not fighting anybody. Chris Morgan took to Twitter Saturday night laughing in fans' faces as he pulled out the celeb boxing event in Jersey. Here's what he had to say in this very bizarre video.
I fooled you all. I ain't coming to the fight. After all, what's the best way to really not get hit? Don't be there. And now look at you. You're all sitting there with your thumbs way directly up your asses.
So he's nuts,
Wow.
and the promoter is pissed because they said that they're going to be at $100,000 for this, and they're scrambling to find now someone for Screech to fight when they were scrambling for someone for the Bagel bitch to fight, and they've already given him $3,000 in advances for press, so it's time for everybody to pay up. They're saying
If Baby Doll had a decent sense of humor,
oh no,
he would call me and go, "Hey, they need someone to fight
Dustin Diamond."
And I'd go, why are you even responding? Hey, baby, it's $9,000 and airfare. And I'd be like, no.
available for upgrade.
Is that what you think of me? I'm not judging. I'm saying that's cash on the barrelhead. Like, he wouldn't be able to pull it off with Kimmel or Carson Daly,
Yeah.
but I think he
You're
could.
the sweet spot.
He could do it with me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, really? First off, they called you? Well, but they didn't. Look, there's a number of calls they made. I was just one of them.
Calls were made back and forth.
And then I'd go, but they asked for everyone on your roster? Like they asked for Colbert and Jon Stewart? Then he'd start laughing real hard and go, obviously not. But anyway.
Yeah. You interested?
And they showed some interest in Cousin Sal, but I think it was a little too pricey.
Yeah.
I'd
He's making lock it in money.
Yeah.
That's good.
It'd be like that scene when we were doing, when we did the Man Show and we had the Man Show boy help old ladies across the street, and he went up to like a 37-year-old woman. He's like, "You're an old lady," and she's like, "No, I'm not." And you go, "Well, you look old to me." Like it was this realization of that's where you're at.
That's how people see you.
He should do that to me.
That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Gina, can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
Or more a special request.
Oh.
For my birthday, not that I expected anything, but I didn't get anything from you. You
Haven't
didn't,
gotten your socks yet.
that's right. You didn't have to get me anything, nor did I expect it.
Yeah.
For a belated gift, can you never say the words bagel or boss in conjunction again?
I did call him a bagel bitch.
I'm so over this fucking story.
Yeah, I think we're done with him now because he's officially out. Now we never have to hear of him again. Happy birthday.
And we're now just sort of celebrating mental illness,
No.
I guess.
Well, he seemed like he was celebrating his own.
I guess.
So actress and former Fox News contributor Stacy Dash was arrested on Sunday in Florida and charged with domestic battery. According to the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, 52-year-old Dash, can you believe it? And a man became
Adam's
involved
fighting her next month.
in an argument just before 8 p.m. Deputies said Dash put hands on him, slapped him in the face. She's 5'4" and 108 pounds, according to TMZ. Officials said the man who was not the name wasn't released, but allegedly her husband had a couple of scratches on his arm, so
Who
she
called
got arrested.
the cops?
It does not say who called. It just said she was arrested for it.
No. I don't like any dude who calls the cops.
I had a
It's
feeling.
What if it was the neighbors?
Could be.
Hearing a skirmish.
I don't know. When you're under 115 pounds. I think
108 pounds.
Yeah. You just, I don't know. I feel like I try to get through my entire life without ever calling the cops.
Sure.
Like, just,
What's in it for you?
I don't know. I feel like people are way too happy to go down certain roads that just sort of lead to more. I guess now everything is about setting the table for the divorce. Like, I've had a lot of people do that. Get a restraining order against your neighbor before they get a restraining. If you have to establish you have a restraining order. Sure. If they get a restraining order first, then you can't get it. If you get one now, then if this thing goes to court, then we'll have the fact that you got a restraining. Everything's everything.
Chess.
By the way, everything is some sort of preemptive lawyer strike now. Like, you have to fill out this paperwork. You have to get that. You have to post this sign. You have to do this before that. You have to announce that, blah, blah, blah. Like, everything is this. You're going to get sued. You're going to get divorced. At some point, you're going to be hauled into court. You're going to be sitting next to Garrigus, and you're going to want this stuff in your folder.
Right.
So you need to do it now and document it now, which is not... it's not a great way to live, but it's sort of that. Like, everyone's going to get sued. Everyone's going to get there's a sort of corporate version of this. There's, God, I was doing a sitcom once, and I was like, you need to sit down with the sexual harassment. Well, wait, and they're having a seminar, and I'm like, I'm not going. I have no history of sexual harassment. There's nothing. There's no. You guys are not, you're not going to be liable for anything because I don't have any of this in my history. Check my file. Like, you need to sit down. They're having, and it's like, I'm really busy. And no, we don't need to go through this dog and pony show. And by the way, since they started having mandatory sexual harassment seminars, has there been less or more suits filed for sexual harassment?
It's a how-to.
It is. There's more. You're not fixing anything. You're just you're planting a seed that would be a good idea for people to do. So I was just like, I'm not going to do it. And I didn't do it. And then one day I showed up to the office, and I was like sitting in the writer's room, and they're like, all right. And they just brought the woman in, and they just sat her down
sneak attack
across from me. And they're like, we got to have this half hour.
Ironically, you probably felt pretty harassed.
Thank God the pilot never got picked up. Thank God we had to do it. It's just, we're turning into one big that. It's not a good sign, everybody. All right, let's do one more, Gina Gray.
You got it. Well, an Oregon woman is under arrest after police say she shared bean dip laced with methamphetamine at work. Cassandra Medina Hernandez gave some of the meth-laced dip to a fellow employee in the deli of the grocery store where she worked. The coworker began feeling very ill, went to the hospital, and was told the dip might have been contaminated with meth. At least one other employee might have eaten some of it, but they don't think any of the customers did. Now, Medina Hernandez was charged with unlawful delivery of methamphetamine, recklessly endangering another person, and causing another person to ingest a controlled substance, but nobody knows why. Meth dip. Bean dip.
Meth, it's so weird and insidious, and it just seems like, again, pot, booze, coke, like, I get it. Meth is just like, I've been up for 5 days and my teeth are falling out. Like, why? Why is that your thing?
Am I reaching, or is it the same thing with the Vontaze Burficts of the world who know intellectually this is wrong, but in the moment, fuck it, YOLO. I'm going to get this guy in the head or hit this meth in the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the same self-destructive, like, it's wrong, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Probably a crime of passion.
Feels good at the time.
Yeah.
That impulse control thing, man. I mean, maybe all the video games, and not the violent video games, but just maybe the everything on demand is like stopping us from that sort of that period where you know, when I was a kid,
stop and wait and think it's a good idea to bring your meth beans to work.
You'd have to steep a little bit, like when like you know, you just take something like when I was growing up, there was your birthday and there was Christmas. Those are only 2 times a year you got anything. Right. You did not receive anything in the mail or boxes or go shopping or whatever. Right. There were three things. There were your
chocolate at Easter.
Yeah, there were your birthday. There was your birthday. There was Christmas, and then there was a sort of like back to school. You get a pair of Toughskins and a Peachy folder, but it's not really anything fun. You get some pencils.
And
something.
For everyone besides the Corollas, there's the occasional grandparents. What'd you bring us?
Yeah, but we didn't have that. But
when your dad went away on work trips, he'd bring you back.
Yeah, souvenir, snow globe.
There were just you got stuff. It was like going out to eat.
Right.
Like my kids at 13 have completely destroyed my number of times out to eat from 0 to 35.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah, they've crushed it. Everything there used to be this kind of period where it's like you'd be sitting around and you'd go, I want to get this bike, or I want to get this game, or I want to get this thing or something. And then you'd have to sort of contemplate it for a long period of time.
You have to put it on a list.
Put on a list and then kind of think about just how you wanted to make this work. And for me, it was always like, well, you can't get this and that. Like, you can't get a Huffy and a train
Sophie's
set.
choice.
You got to kind of get a train set or a Huffy. So let's see if we can work this out. Everything is really immediate now.
Yeah.
Everything just happens in real time. And I wonder if people are having trouble making decisions in real time because stuff is like, they get it now.
That's a good point.
And maybe that ability to like sit and contemplate, maybe that's going away. Maybe that's, how else could you explain like so many fights on an airplane? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if someone goes, I want a drink, and they go, we have to wait till we get to cruising altitude. I'm getting it now. It's like that didn't exist.
Wait, that's you.
That's me. I was a little champagne. Sir, this isn't a self-serve bar. There's a fucking bottle of champagne. It's sitting in front of me. I'm in first class. You're welcome.
It's right there.
You're welcome. Point is this. Maybe we don't have that ability to wait it out.
Yeah.
Like we used to wait it out.
Yeah,
And
we don't come with it anymore.
Seem like that was a big part. It's like good things come to those who wait. It's all about sort of delayed gratification. And I feel like all my parents did, and all everyone else's parents did, was go, slow down, not so fast. No, we're not going anywhere yet. You wait, and we're not going. If you ask me again when we're leaving, we're not going to leave.
We're not
going. You know, it's like a whole bunch of like managing. All right. Bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.